From a beverage cart over the French Alps that was in for a rocky ride, and an emergency landing in China that had chairs shaking out of control, to a terrifying flight in Germany that nearly claimed a celebrity couple, and an Airbus A380 that had to navigate a powerful crosswind. Here is some of the most unbelievable plane turbulence caught on camera. If turbulence freaks you out, avoid flying over the Andes Mountains in South America. Data compiled from 150,000 routes determined that the 1,100-mile journey from Santiago, Chile to Viru Viru, Bolivia is the most turbulent flight on Earth. The 3-hour trip is almost entirely over the Andes. Passengers on board this flight heading to Tierra del Fuego learned why the Andes are bad for turbulence. Watch how mechanical turbulence off the mountains causes this plane to shake and rattle out of control. Now, this type of turbulence is specifically called mountain wave turbulence. They're eddies found downwind of mountain ranges like the Andes, Rockies, and Himalayas. They produce some of the most severe turbulence you can ever experience. It occurs when the wind rolls over the mountains, creating waves of air that rotate into the jet stream and impact your plane. Thankfully, pilots and ATC can recognize the signs of mountain wave turbulence and reroute the flight. They're also not as violent if the plane hits them head-on. Getting hit from the side is a different story, as seen in this video. When pilots believe they're about to enter a turbulent patch, they'll turn on the fasten seatbelt sign. This helps keep everybody safe while the plane shakes and pitches. Unfortunately, severe turbulence is hard to spot before it hits, which is why you should always keep your seatbelt on. These next two clips explain why. The first comes from April of 2011. Passengers were flying over the French Alps when their plane hit a spot of extreme mountain wave turbulence. Flight attendants had just begun beverage service and weren't prepared for what happened next. Luckily, these ladies were able to hold on to the beverage cart. The passengers in this next clip weren't so lucky. This 2019 flight was heading from Pristina, Serbia to Basel, Switzerland. The route also took their plane over the Alps. This video exemplifies why you should always wear your seatbelt. The sudden drop caused the beverage cart and flight attendant to hit the cabin ceiling. Drinks spilled everywhere, and a few passengers suffered minor burns from hot water. Now, they should have known better than to start beverage service while flying over the Alps. Mountain wave turbulence can be extremely rough and unpredictable. Why risk it for coffee and ginger ale? Thankfully, this occurred only 20 minutes before landing, just as the plane cleared the mountains. 10 people were treated at a local Swiss hospital for minor burns and injuries. China Eastern is one of the country's 3 major airlines. Headquartered in Shanghai, it serves flights to over 220 destinations. Its 627 plane fleet consists mainly of Airbus A320s and Boeing 737s. On December 3rd of 2023, one of those Airbuses had to be taken into the shop. While flying from Shanghai to Hong Kong, one of the fan blades malfunctioned, causing the plane to shake violently. Passengers were so scared that they sat in stunned silence. Watch as the plane shakes like it's passing through extreme turbulence. Everything had been going fine up until then. The flight departed on time, and flight attendants served breakfast around 10 o'clock. That's when our passengers heard a loud bang off the left wing. The cabin began shaking, and everyone could smell something burning. Thankfully, the plane landed safely in Xiamen, a coastal city between Hong Kong and Shanghai. The intense shaking lasted for 20 minutes, from the moment it began to when the plane touched the ground. Everyone got off safely while the plane was inspected. They all got on a new flight to Shanghai around 3:30 p.m. that day. On June 21st of 2022, Red Air Flight 2023 descended into Miami International Airport, having just flown from the Dominican Republic. If you've never heard of Red Air, that's because they're a new Dominican company formed in 2020. They only have 3 planes. One of those planes was heading in for repairs after this rough landing in Miami. Upon landing, the left main gear collapsed, causing the left wing to skid against the ground. Moments before stopping, the right and nose landing gears also collapsed, causing damage to the plane's front end and a fire on the right side. They also snapped a communication tower along the way, but that was the least of their worries. Thankfully, all 130 passengers and 10 crew members made it off the plane safely. As of today, we're not sure what caused the accident. It was either bad luck or faulty manufacturing. There seems to be a lot more of the latter going around these days. Frontier Airlines is an ultra-low-cost American airline operating out of Denver, Colorado. It's been around since the mid-1990s and has been helping people save money as airfare has only become more expensive. On October 25th of 2019, Frontier Flight 226 from Denver to Baltimore went through one of the most intense turbulence patches you'll ever see. One man recorded the entire ordeal as his fellow passengers prayed for safety. According to the National Weather Service, turbulence is among Mother Nature's most unpredictable phenomena. Turbulence can impact your flight in several ways, but the 4 main types are clear air, thermal, mechanical, and wake. It all concerns jet streams, the invisible air paths encircling the globe. They can make the plane pitch up or down and rock from side to side. Thankfully, ATC can predict turbulence from weather and mountain ranges, thus accounting for thermal and mechanical. As for wake turbulence, it only matters when landing behind another plane. Clear air turbulence causes everyone trouble. That's because you'll never see it coming until you're in it, which is likely what happened on this flight. As our pilot in this video states, they went through an unforecasted area of severe turbulence. Thankfully, everything was okay, and the plane landed safely in Baltimore. On March 1st of 2023, a powerful turbulence patch nearly took out Lufthansa Flight 469 from Austin, Texas to Frankfurt, Germany. Even the pilot, who had been flying for 27 years, had never seen anything like it. They were about 90 minutes into a 10-hour flight when the plane began shaking over Tennessee. The Airbus A330 was cruising at 37,000 feet when it suddenly plummeted 4,000 feet toward the ground. Everything inside the plane went flying, from pillows and bags to food trays, water bottles, and those without seatbelts. Aftermath footage shows what the plane looked like as passengers sat in silent disbelief.
I think we were falling for a little bit. Estábamos todos comiendo. Llevamos, no sé, hora y media, pero probablemente no vuelve. Pues empezó a caer el avión.
Aus Sicherheitsgründen lassen wir die Anschnallzeichen noch so lange eingeschaltet, bis wir die Gewitterzone verlassen haben.
According to reports, people were calling their loved ones as if it were the last time. Flight attendants treated those with minor injuries as the captain walked the cabin to check on his passengers. He tried to explain what happened as best as he could. He had been flying for 27 years and had never seen anything like that. He finally landed the plane in Virginia, where 7 people were taken to a local hospital with minor injuries. According to the National Weather Service, severe storms had moved over the Tennessee area as the plane passed. They were strong enough to force an emergency landing, which left some questioning why the plane flew through it. It later emerged that Matthew McConaughey and his wife Camilla were on the plane. He remembers people displaying a range of emotions, from being ghost silent to bursting out in laughter. Emirates Airlines is the largest airline in the Middle East. They serve 150 cities across 80 countries, with roughly 3,600 flights departing from their hub in Dubai every week. On October 5th of 2017, an Emirates Airbus A380 was landing in Dusseldorf, Germany, when the plane encountered a nasty crosswind. As you're about to see, wind doesn't just mess with planes in the air. It can still get you when you're about to touch the ground. Luckily, the pilot maintained control and rolled safely into the gate, though we imagine the passengers on board weren't thrilled with the rough landing. What you just saw is called a crab landing. It looks like the plane is landing at an angle, only to straighten out at the last moment. Pilots use crab landings during strong crosswinds to align the plane's nose with the runway. In this instance, the wind was blowing from left to right across your screen. The pilot turns into it, effectively fighting the wind all the way to the tarmac. If at first you don't succeed, try again. It's true in life, and it's true in aborted plane landings. If the pilot doesn't think it's safe to land, it's better to pull up, go around, and try again. Forcing a rough landing is a surefire way to put everyone in danger. On May 29th of 2022, a Boeing 737 was attempting to land in central Sulawesi, Indonesia. But, just as the pilot began their descent, a storm picked up, creating extreme turbulence. Instead of risking everyone's life, he did the smart thing and turned around. Our camera woman began filming shortly after the plane went up again. She said everyone was screaming, crying, and praying as the cabin shook. They hung in the air for 30 minutes until the storm cleared and the pilot deemed it safe to land. Aborted landings, also known as go-arounds, are crucial safety tools. According to a study from the Flight Safety Foundation, more than half of all plane accidents could have been avoided had the pilot simply gone around. If at first you don't succeed, try and land the plane again. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.